Hey folks, welcome back to the channel. Today we're sitting in on a parole hearing for an offender who served 34 years for a violent unaliving. He says he's a changed man and the board seems to agree, but what about the victim's family? What about the pain they still carry? Can redemption truly exist when the victim's family will never get their loved one back? Let's see how this emotional hearing plays out.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Committee for Parole is called to order. Today's date is September 18th, 2024. My name is Chuck Tillis. The colleagues today, to my left is Ms. Jerry Ledoux. To my right is Mr. Danny Barnes. I'll be serving as chair today. We're located at the DOC headquarters here in Baton Rouge. Staff, would you say your name for the record, please?
My name is Darrell James.
There's that.
Okay. All right. Staff there, say their name.
Deputy Warden Grumio.
Taylor Grapple classification. Carmen Shipley, offender records.
And
Darrell James Sterling, 36-435.
okay. We're at the remote location at Louisiana State Prison. I'm going to read in the record your sentencing and your dates. A first offense felon, you were sentenced January 10th, 1992. Sentencing was life in prison at hard labor to be served without benefit of probation, parole, or suspension of sentence. On December 13, 2023, a computation of sentence from the life to 99 years with recommendation for parole eligibility after serving 30 years was granted by the governor, John Bell. The staff there, the warden, do we have anybody there to speak on your behalf? Warden, do you have any comments, or the staff there?
Yes, sir. As far as Mr. Sterling, currently he's in a couple of program classes, and that I recommend that he needs to finish that. He has a very good disciplinary record. The last time he's been written up was 2008. He has a high school diploma. He's completed a lot of management classes and everything. So right now he's a Men 8 trustee, and he's been doing what needs to be done.
Thank you so much. Today we have that speaking on the behalf of Mr. Sterling is Julie Mudd.
Julie Mudd, yes. Hello, good morning.
I'm going to let you go last. And we have David Green, who is a minister. And we have also John Sterling, the brother. And do we have anybody else on the video? Okay. Mr. Green, would you like to make a statement?
Yes, thank you. Good morning to this honorable board. Thank you for allowing me to be able to speak on behalf of Brother Darrell Sterling. Been knowing Brother Darrell Sterling for over 15 years now in ministry, and he has been definitely one of our stronger ministers there in Angola at the main prison there. And we're so proud of Brother Sterling. We're looking forward to, if this honorable board see fit, to grant Darrell Sterling another opportunity at his freedom to have him on our staff here with Keep It Real Ministries. You all know that we help house men out of incarceration, which we have some great men that you all have released to society that are still faithful to the Lord and being an impact in the community right here in St. Bernard Parish, where we are located. And so we look forward to letting Darrell continue to exercise the gift that God has blessed him with in ministry here and being an encouragement, especially to our youth that are going to the left, so deep to the left, that need encouragement from folks that have made bad choices and bad decisions in life before, just to keep it real with them. But thank you all for allowing us to be here. And we just praying that God would bless you all, touch your heart to grant Darrell Sterling another opportunity. And we look forward to working with him. And anyone on this board is always welcome to come to this facility here at Keep It Real Ministries in St. Bernard Parish and just see how all these wonderful men are doing. We're not bragging, but it's only because of the grace of God and the strength of the Lord that they are doing the things that they are doing.
Thank you so much. John Sterling. You can speak now if you step at the podium.
To the podium.
His brother, just support him.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Mr. Sterling, would you like to say something on your behalf?
Good morning to the honorable board this morning. Thank you for this opportunity to be able to speak. Very remorseful. First of all, I'd like to speak on behalf of my remorse for the family of Mr. James Baptiste. Waited 34 years for this opportunity to be able to express my remorse for the tragic act of murdering Mr. Baptiste. I'm very sorry that it I like to the mother of his children, as well as his children. I'm very remorseful for causing such a horrible impact on your life, taking your loved one from you. I can't imagine how you must hate me as a person. I just wanted to also let y'all know how humbly I come before you, asking for your forgiveness. It was just terrible. You know, I've caused pain in the lives of so many people, my community, my family. I'm deeply remorseful. The company that I was working for at the time, United Parcel Service, my coworkers. I've waited so long. This thing has dealt with me for so long, and I just wanted to be able to just let Mr. Baptiste's family and his loved ones know how terrible, sorry I am, and I just want to humbly put myself in a position to ask for your forgiveness.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Mr. Myers, I'm sorry. Are you ready to speak?
Yes, thank you. We're here to support Mr. Sterling. Mr. Sterling isn't new to Parole Project. Parole Project has known Mr. Sterling for a very long time. We feel very confident. Mr. Sterling is a first offender. He's been incarcerated for 34 years. He's done significant work in rehabilitation, and we believe that he's a perfect example of how the Department of Corrections works, of rehabilitation. That's the goal. And we believe that Mr. Sterling, based on his age, based on the amount of time served, the support that Parole Project will give him after 34 years of incarceration in the transition. He also has an extremely high quality long-term plan. And so we're prepared to work with Mr. Sterling for as long as that transition period is needed before he moves on to that. We'll help him through the basics for someone who's been incarcerated that long, through technology, through finance, through social norms through the one-on-one mentoring that we're able to provide. And so we just ask this board to consider this and grant Mr. Sterling his parole today.
Thank you so much. Mr. Sterling, Mr. Barros is handling your case, and he's going to be asking you some questions along with the panel. Mr. Barros.
Before questions, I just need to get some of the facts out on the record of the case that we have a lot of opposition from the law enforcement and the victim's family. The district attorney office is letting us know that the life sentence should not be commuted. The victim's family was told that life means life, and it should be. The sheriff's office spokesman says we are opposed to early release for anyone convicted of murdering a human being. Police department statement says Darrell Sterling's involvement in the murder of James Baptiste was one of violence and premeditation. Sterling and another subject intended to rob Baptiste of his money and drugs. Sterling admitted striking Baptiste with a curling bar. The impact caused the weights and the ends to fly off the bar. Sterling admitted to carrying Baptiste's body to the bathroom, where he, Sterling, admitted to taking a razor and cutting both of his wrists of the victim. Sterling then went to the kitchen and obtained a knife, giving it to his accomplice, who then cut the throat of Mr. Baptiste. After the murder of Baptiste, Sterling and his accomplice then robbed Baptiste of his money. After several days, Sterling and his accomplice returned Baptiste's body and moved it and dumped it in a body of water along Lake Charles, along with other evidence of the crime. Due to the extensive violence of this crime, Sterling should serve his original sentence handed down by the judge. That's the law enforcement opposition we have documented. And the Baptiste family, Ms. Vanita Baptiste, the sister of the victim, was contacted, and she is adamantly opposed for early release. She's described the day her brother's body was discovered and is unable to understand how someone could have murdered another human being like that. Hamilton Baptiste, the brother of the victim, he's extremely opposed, and Crystal Baptiste, the cousin of the victim, extremely opposed. And that's a lot of opposition we got to deal with regarding this if we would determine that to release you. My question is, why do you think you, at this point in your life, you deserve to be released? What have you done, and why do you think that today's the day that we should be releasing you?
Mr. Barros, thank you for the opportunity to answer that question. I was 29 years old when I got locked up for the murder of Mr. Baptiste. I'm entering my 34th year of incarceration. I've grown up all over again in prison. Immediately as soon as I got to prison, working my way out of the prison cell block farm line, I started working on myself as soon as I got into population in 1993. I've excelled in every job I've had in 34 years. I've only had 5 jobs outside of a farm line. My first job was working for the prison enterprise with the Louisiana tag making process. The second job was in 95 for the main prison laundry, worked over 25 years of experience there. I became the inmate manager and supervisor. I had 5 different supervisors from that point. Unit management asked me to train security as well as training the offenders in that place for pressing clothes, using industrial washing machines and dryers. The next job from there was required for a trustee, which I've never compromised my trustee status from 2008 up until this point. I've always worked outside of the prison compounds, unsupervised. I don't have any escape risk. I started working on my sobriety. I have 34 years of sobriety. I've taken New Hope AA. I've completed relapse recovery, substance abuse, living in balance, thinking for a change. anger management, JCs. I took a course in 93 JCs from 1993 to 94, a year, worked with those self-help development classes. I've taken AA in 93. I've taken CPR, and those skills for CPR in 2019 came to pass when a major died, a correction officer died at my feet from a heart attack. Me and my coworkers were able to perform with the instructions that I had to help the warden and the security officer. We worked on this guy for 5 minutes, and the major, he came back to life, and he's still working for Angola here today. I've taken Toastmasters, Building Your Thinking Power, Parliamentary Procedures. The Club for Angola Special Civic Project was a pre-reform organization for the possibility for parole for life at the time. We had a concession. I worked in the area with the visitors. I've learned management skills, short order cook forms. I've trained people. I've management skills. I've learned secretarial, bookkeeping, accounting, leadership skills. I've also taken Dale Carnegie. I've always worked on myself since I came to prison up until this present date, 2007. I was added to the Lord's Church, and all of these things that I'm doing is voluntary outside of my normal work job. Unit management used me in 94 to 96 to do a newsletter, which was piggybacked off of the Angolite. The Angolite staff took and worked with me to try to help improve my writing skills. I was bridging the gap between the administration at unit and the unit management with the inmate population to curb the violence at the time, and it started escalating in the early 90s. And they used me as a negotiator to go and speak with people as the province so that we could help find solutions, try to make a better community. I've always put myself in a position on a voluntary basis to not only be a role model and a pillar in the community, but also to help people with their families. That laundry helped me to reach out and make sure that the people's clothes was always done properly and that they had food to feed their families when they came and visit. I used the club to feed the poor. Everything that I did, I gave back to society here in this community to work with unit managers to help curb the violence and make it peaceful for all of us. And at this time, I'm not a bad person. I had a very bad addiction into crack. And I'm just praying and asking that the board could find the mercy in their heart. You know, I'm not a terrible person. I just came out of rehab. I went to 2 rehabs on the street. I had a bad addiction. I'm without excuse for what happened. And I'd just like to ask the board for some mercy today and consider me for parole. Thank you, Mr. Barros.
And I started out with the negative parts of your case, but there's some positive things too. Looking at your record being in there, you've only had 4 write-ups in all of that time, and the last one being in 1992 is what I see, and that you're on a minimum level of security, and that you are a true first offender, which we don't really see a lot of those guys. You've never been convicted of a prior felony. You picked a hell of a one to do for your first one, but you were pretty much a clean case until that date. So those are the positive things, and you have support of the Parole Project and everybody else. There are some negatives and positives. Thank you for your explanation. It was pretty good.
Ms. Ledoux?
Mr. Sterling, I want you to elaborate for me, and maybe your attorney is prepared to do that, but elaborate for me, what is your plan if you were to be released? Tell me where you would go. You're 62, right?
Yes, ma'am.
You're in pretty good shape there.
Yes, ma'am.
So tell me what you're going to do. What is your first couple of years? What are you going to do with yourself?
Thank you, Mr. Ledoux, for the opportunity to speak with you. The Parole Project is willing to work with me for a long-term program at my age so that it can properly help me transition back into society, find an adequate place to stay and a job at my age so that I could properly support myself. our ministry is 24/7, the Lord's Church, the Church of Christ. I've been a volunteer minister since 2007. I've effectively, in my obedience to God, since I moved to Camp F over a year and a half ago, one of the first guys that's volunteered to go over there, and 3 guys have addressed and obeyed the scriptures and got baptized according to the scriptures. And the ministry is something that I've taken on for my life from this point on since 2007. The other options I have would be, through the Parole Project now to help me find something sufficient enough for me at my age to be able to support myself. I like to also talk to at-risk youths. The suicide rate is high. The guy that got baptized on death row, he was suicidal. He had failed in the suicide attempt, and the administrator wanted me to talk with him, and I spoke with him, and he wanted to meet with me. And the ministry has been very effective in a lot of guys' lives since I've been here in prison, and properly praying that, whatever city I reside in, that I could get with the mayor or whoever's in charge of community service projects, and just whatever years I have left, just get back to community out there in society at youth risk, and just try to make a difference, a greater impact on society than what I had the opportunity to do here in Angola, man.
I have no questions. Ms. Mudd, you want to speak?
Yes, thank you. I wanted to start, I know that the warden had mentioned a couple of programs that Mr. Sterling was enrolled in but hadn't finished. He actually did finish Living in Balance. August 28th is the date of this certificate. He is also completed, they had their last substantive class for Thinking for a Change on this past Friday. So he is waiting on the certificate for that. He's got, when I was putting together this packet, I don't know that I've ever seen this many certificates for one person. He has 52 certificates for various activities. I know that, some of the good time classes that he's participated in, Cage Your Rage, 100 Hours, Living in Balance, Thinking for a Change. There's so many. I'm not going to read all of these things, but he's participated in many classes that will assist him in staying sober when he gets out of custody. I think that he is, a true case of someone who has been reformed. He's come to prison. He's taken full advantage of all of the opportunities that have been given to him here. He's an incredibly remorseful person. He has expressed that to the board, but also he has expressed that through his actions since he's been in custody. He's, taken every opportunity to minister to other prisoners. In addition to Mr. Green, who spoke, I've spoken to several people with the Church of Christ. It's like his second family, and they're very supportive of him. And I believe that if he is released, then they will continue to be very supportive of him on the outside. I think that, Richard Felix in particular, who brought him into the Church of Christ, has, he expressed to me that Mr. Sterling is like family to him. And I believe that going forward, that will continue to be the case. He's, as was mentioned, a Class A trustee. He's been a Class A trustee for a very long time, only 4 write-ups in his 34 years of incarceration. He's gotten his driver's license. I don't think that's in the packet. He's gotten his driver's license since he's been in custody. I will note too, this wasn't a trial case. He actually pled guilty at the time that this case was going on. He took accountability at that point. He has just excelled at everything he has done since he has been here in prison. He's educated himself. He actually has a college degree. He had a college degree before he came into prison, and then he's continued some courses through colleges since he's been in. That includes Nations University and Northwest Missouri Community College. There are some certificates in his packet from those, as well as his Boston, WO Boston High School diploma and McNeese State University. He has associate in science from McNeese State University as well. So he's in a good position to succeed when he gets out. He'll have plenty of things to occupy his time and to become a productive member of society.
Thank you so much. Is the board ready to vote?
I ask for executive session.
I'll second it.
Call the roll, please.
Jerry Ledoux? Yes. Danny Barrow?
Yes.
Joe Kidd?
Yes. We're gonna go in executive session right now. Yeah. All right, Mr. Barr, I handle your case. He will vote first.
Mr. Sterling, I gotta commend you on your exemplary prison record. That's really, really impressive. I also looking at you being a true first offender and giving you credit for that, and the good support that you have with the Parole Project and other people. So based on your behavior in prison and your positive changes, I'm going to vote to grant you parole today, and on the condition that you speak with at-risk children at least 4 times a year and let them know the dangers of drugs and one bad decision, how long it can cost you. One bad decision can cost you. So you can either set that up with probation and parole to do it at the schools, or I'll also let you do it through the church with the ministers, because I know they see a lot of at-risk children too. And that was something you said you wanted to do, and I think it's a great idea. And a second condition is going to be that you have absolutely no contact with the victim's family members. And if you do come aware that any of them are around you, it's going to be incumbent on you to leave, not engage, do not, no contact, period. And casual contact, you need to be turning around and leaving, not trying to engage with anybody on the victim side, okay?
Yes, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
Ms. Ledoux?
Mr. Sterling, there is nothing you can do to change what you did 34 years ago. Nothing you can do to change that. My decision today is based on what you've done since you committed that heinous crime, and you've owned up to that. You pled guilty. You accepted responsibility. I don't like the term model inmate. I don't like that term. But I do like the term rehabilitated individual, and I believe you are. My vote's going to be to grant parole. My stipulation is that you never live in Calcasieu Parish.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Mr. Ledoux.
So Sterling, I think you've done a great job. You convinced me that you're remorseful. You've done a lot what we expect people to do. My vote is to grant, to release you to the Parole Project. So today, you have 3 votes for you. You've been granted parole.
Thank you, Honorable Board. God bless you.
Thank you so much.
That was a tough one. On one hand, we see a man who served 34 years showing remorse and claiming rehabilitation. On the other, we have a family that will never get their loved one back, no matter how much time has passed. Is this what redemption looks like? Can the offender truly move forward, or will the weight of this crime follow him forever? Let me know in the comments, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more gripping courtroom moments. Thank you for watching. See you in the next one.